very end of 2008, a lot of companies went through some drifts. They really downsized, started maybe to outsource their R&D. Recently, we've seen some companies going obviously to India, but also to Costa Rica. What companies can really do is just be very, very open with with the banks and helping them understand what they're doing. For a while there, we were seeing that flat was the new up. We were talking about that earlier, and 2009, 2010, companies were saying, well, we're going to grow to the same amount that we had last year in revenue, but we're going to cut our spend by 20% to try to get us to our next financing round in a VC-backed scenario, or return to cash flow positive. So for a while there, we were really used to seeing just flat growth, if you will, year over year. But it's something that SVB is really accustomed to companies losing money, which I think is a little bit different from the other panelists, where we're very comfortable with seeing losses, with seeing burn figures that may last a year or two. It's really, what are they doing to get to that point, and if there is a VC backer there, where their support is, and what type of facility we can put in place to get them to that point.
I think the companies we've talked to and helped over the years who had the biggest problem with cash flow, I think the best solution for them has been understanding where their cash flow is and explaining it best to the banks. I mean, if you're burning cash, that's okay if there's a good reason you're burning cash, if it's for some opportunity. But if you're burning cash because you don't understand your operations, that's a whole different story. So I think doing an analysis of understanding your cash flows and then making sure they're right-sized. Is the cash going out where you need it to go out, where the best spend is, and explain that to the banks. And I think also having good systems in place that monitor that cash flow is very important to the lender, and I think can push you along. If you say, okay, it's burning, but here's why, here's what we're doing, here's the systems in place, that goes a long way with the lender. If you say, I'm losing money, I don't know why, cash flow is going, okay, just show the banker right out the door, because they can't get there, they can't get comfortable. But if you can prove your story and explain it and show the systems, you've got a good chance of helping that lender get comfortable with your story.
As I think about it, there are two things we've seen our companies do to improve their cash flow during this restructuring phase. One is just traditional working capital asset management. I think small companies often are put in the position of being the bank for their customers. And when people are growing fast and there's a lot going on, it's easy to lose sight of the fact that your receivables are slowing down, or that you've committed to inventory that's not moving. So I think the first line of defense in a lot of our companies was just get somebody focused on doing collections. The second thing we saw was during the more go-go time, people would hire kind of whomever was close enough to meeting the spec. And I think of some of our companies who, for example, would hire sales reps, and they would hire more bodies just to get more feet on the street. And when the downturn hit, it gave people an opportunity to restructure and to take out 2 or 3 weak performers and bring back one strong performer. So just a recalibration of the whole organization, which had the effect of cutting the spend, but improving the